Balwin Properties, one of the largest national home builders in South Africa, focusing on developing large-scale sectional title residential estates for the country's growing middle-income population.
Yep, there you go. I mean, people like to talk about South Africa as having problems, but if you go back 20 years and look at the number of people that have moved into the middle class, that's a very impressive number. It's numbers of people employed in the formal sector having access to bond finance and are now making their way into and up the ladder with regard to property ownership.
Market cap, just over 3 billion rand, a PE ratio of 4.7, dividend yield 6.3%. Share price graph will kick off our conversation. Nesan?
If you look at that share price graph, it's probably telling you want to stay away. But there's a
really, I was hoping to interpret something else.
There's a few things you should remember. Okay, so it's on a less than 5 PE and a dividend yield of 6. But I think the big overriding factor here is to take a view on exactly where the middle class sort of consumer is going to be down the line. Now, if you're looking at the headline macro numbers, private sector credit extension in the household sector is 0. Okay, in nominal terms, which means it's a negative in real terms, and that means people are not borrowing. So you may be inclined to feel that it's something you want to stay away from. But if you look at their business model, I mean, the areas that they're developing in Greenstone, Waterfall, Randburg, Cape Town, KZN, I mean, these are big urban nodes. And the type of properties they're developing is this high density, we call them complexes, where you're putting in 100, 200 units on a particular stand, you're providing security. It's the way in which middle class sort of urban lifestyle or urban living is going. If you want to take a long-term view, and I think with both these shares, both Calgro and Balwin, you're going to have to take a long-term view if you're looking at them quite seriously. I think they're very well positioned for growth. The Balwin Properties, for example, started so the 500,000-600,000 go up to 1.5 million, which is very affordable in that in that income bracket. So just don't look at the share price. This may be one that
just
you may want.
Close your eyes on this one. Nesan's saying.
Look, the kind of millennials that are buying these properties mostly do read the newspaper and they can see the economy is not doing so well, but they themselves feel like they're
on top of the world.
And, things are happening. Every single one of these units has a DSTV decoder, an outdoor cooker with a gas hob. It's got 2 or 3 bedrooms. They're young families moving in upwards. It's perfect. So this company also has a strong founder shareholder in a guy called Steve Brooks. That's his surname, right? I always thought his name was Balwin, but it's not. It's Brooks.
I think you're getting confused with Stephen Baldwin.
Well, I thought, where the hell does his company name come from anyway if it's not Balwin? But I'm wrong about that. His name is Steve Brooks. So they've got strong backing also from Vestact, who did the listing, have always been close to them in providing project finance and so on and so forth. So it's got a lot of... Look, I don't know. I mean, it depends how ropey you think the overall economy is going to be, because at some point people will slow down at least, and the banks...
Well, you have to admit, even with your glass half full stance, you've also got to admit that this does not look like a bed of roses.
Yeah, and until 2019 with the ANC Congress and the emergence of the fresh presidential candidates and so on, I think there's cause for further concern. So I'm going to go not hot.
You heard it from him.
Yeah, I'm going to stick my neck out and say this is hot for the long term.
Well done. Well done.
I'm amazed at your bravery. No, well done.
Good job.
So you close your eyes. You weren't looking at the share price.
Stick it in the bottom drawer for 10 years. That's what I say.
So we've got a hot, and that is our first hot for the show today on construction.